Hi everyone, I'm here again. I'm now in Tasmania, in our property called Sherwood. I'm actually going to film this rather than do this live and then upload it to the group as well as to YouTube. It was really funny because I knew I had to do this early, and yesterday and the day before, I wasn't sure what topic will come through. And not only wasn't I sure, I think I was actually sort of not engaging as much as they want me to engage in terms of bringing it through. So what I did was I went to sleep and I didn't want to get up. I went to sleep early and in my head I didn't want to get up. And early this morning, I basically got dreams about writing this topic until it woke me up to the point where I was saying, all right, I'll just get up. I'll just get up and write the blasted stuff. So they woke me up from my dream state so that I could channel this piece for you guys and for the community out there who will come and watch this on YouTube. So I'm here and I have written something and I will share that with you. As usual, they've come up with a topic, which is the consciousness on the other side. I am a channeler. I channel my higher self who I embody, and they bring wisdom down from different places on the other side for wisdom that can help people live their lives in a more uplifted way. So the topic for today is many paradigms of reality, many truths. So what I might do is I might just open my computer and start reading it out. My higher self is called Phimo, for Phil's mojo, for want of a better word. There is no name. It is an energy being that comes through me and downloads to me the wisdom and insights. When you see me publishing things, it would be little I, big P, Himo, iPhimo, because the little I is me. As a starter, whenever someone channels, they channel through their lenses. Their lenses is something that's developed from when they were growing up, in the society that they live, in the country that they live, in the family that they live, in the culture that they live. So we all have different lenses when we bring insights through. So let me just start reading what I've downloaded for you this morning, and where there's a need to stop to explain something, I will do so. Okay, let's start. Okay, many paradigms of reality, many truths. This tutorial continues our series of insights, tips, and tools on living your life more lightly and lightheartedly. To live more lightly and lightheartedly, you need to understand that there are many truths, that whilst you hold on to one truth that is real and evidenced for you, others hold on to other truths that are real and evidenced for them. There is no right or wrong. It depends on which paradigm of reality you live your life within. So what they start, okay, so sorry. If you're watching this series of tutorials, you're probably already exposed to the truth that belief creates reality. They're referring to this phrase or this statement made a lot in textbooks, a lot in YouTube clips that all of us are exposed to, and they want to explain a little bit more about beliefs. So they said, let's start with beliefs. Beliefs first create realities in the ether, and when believed enough and powered enough by passion, these beliefs get manifested into reality. Your beliefs, your reality. A belief comes from internal wisdom, from inner knowing, or external sources put through your own lens, which has been constructed over time from influences like your culture, your society, beliefs from your country you live in, and so on. Or it can come directly from an external source, a trusted source, which resonates with you, and then it gets adopted. These beliefs coalesce coalesce into a reality for you. I wish they were right words I can pronounce. Anyway, in truth, there are many realities as there are humans, and each human has infinite versions of realities because every decision they take spins out another version of reality for them. Where you put your awareness where you put your awareness on is the reality you are in at that now time. So this is really fascinating, because if we truly believe that belief creates reality, all of us are different and all of us believe different things. Even if we believe the same thing, we might believe in a different essence of that same thing. So it only comes to comes to the logic that if all of us believe different things or versions of the same thing, then our version of reality would be different. As well, every time our consciousness thinks about something else or believes something else in and around the topic, believes something else in and around something that has happened, or when we make a decision on something that has happened, our reality splits into two realities, right? So if you wanted to do this and you are deciding whether to do this or not, it actually splits into two realities, and then you have these realities out there. So they continue, there are parallel versions of the same reality, and metaphorically, they sit side by side like parallel train tracks. In one version of one reality, Philamae is still addicted to smoking. She knows her, this is interesting, because as they're saying this, in my head, I say, my mom's watching this. She said she knows her mother is listening to her tutorials, so we are allowing her to add the next line. So they said, Philamae is addicted to smoking in one version of one reality, a habit she took up to help her sleep during her divorce, and court case. So Philamae's just come into the consciousness as I was typing to say, hey, but there was a reason. That's the ego side of me putting in a line there. In another reality, this particular reality, she doesn't smoke, right? She doesn't now smoke. Philamae is a master manifester. She said that she would stop smoking after her court case for her divorce, and so she did. She jumped from one reality to another. She did that overnight, into a time-space reality. She did it overnight, and they want to explain that when you're asleep, right, at that moment in time, the time-space reality when humans have their sleep have the least resistance. So that's why she actually gave it up overnight. She said she would, she believed she could. She pinned it to a moment, which is she actually told herself when she will stop, and she did. She jumped from one reality into another reality seamlessly, right? Which is a really good example of how manifestation works. And it in one reality, that is during her court case when she was smoking, she could not give it up. She decided she will give it up on the day the court case ends and settles, and she says, thereafter I will not be smoking. And so she gave it up. She had that belief, right? So and then it manifested for her. All versions of realities exist in the same now time. Some are energetically more coherent and stronger because we spend more time in that reality. Some are less coherent and more distant from the reality you are in today. But there are infinite versions of reality that are aligned with your current reality. Manifestation is a calling in of a version of that like reality that sits close to the reality you are observing in your now. To get to a manifestation that is further out, you have to keep jumping train tracks towards the direction. So it's really hard to actually jump from one point to a point tomorrow that is so far away. But if you believe something strong enough, and you are passionate about that belief, and you don't have doubts, then you'll see it unfolding, and you need to take that next natural step, and then the next natural step, and then the next natural step till you get there. Okay, so it isn't overnight if it's not the next natural step that you've been trying to manifest for some time, and that you have seen evidence for it to believe it is possible. We, or you, flit in and out of like realities that are almost carbon copies of the one you're in now, except for possibly something that is different, the thing you're calling in either consciously or unconsciously. So we have all these versions of realities that are almost carbon copy, bar that one difference, bar that one difference, bar that one difference. So we can flit into another reality because it looks and feels the same, bar that thing which we're calling in for, right? It might be, for example, one reality, we haven't seen a relative for some time, and you've been thinking about this relative, and you've been thinking about the good times you've had with this reality, and suddenly the next day or the next moment you get a phone call from that relative, and that relative is saying, "Hey, I'm coming your way," and then you can see one step at a time you're calling in that reality, right? Okay, as an example, in your now reality you have 3 cats, but in another reality you have no cats, right? And there is a reality where you have lost 3 cats. So you have all these scenarios happening. What that means is that you must have a reality where you have 2 cats and 1 may have passed. Yet in another reality you have 1 cat and 2 may have passed. That goes from how you had 3 cats, step by step into no cats, right? But you see, there's so many permutations out there. All these are in a time-space reality of your now time. So that means they are all out there to be called in. The permutations are endless, right? So they've talked about how the beliefs we have, and the beliefs we have that creates all these versions of realities, and how we can call in the versions of realities if we put our focus to it, and if we have an emotion that drives it, right? So they continue. You have parallel realities, infinite versions of reality of this life you are living, and all permutations of this life are in existence already, but you have your focus on one at every now moment. When you think of something often enough and you continue to imagine it, and when that imagining is powered by emotion, you call in that version of a reality for you to experience. Yes, your belief creates your reality, or more accurately, your belief calls in a version of your reality that sits closest to your now reality. And when you keep doing it, you may find yourself in a reality that is alien to the one you started off from, because you have shifted. You've been jumping train tracks. Then one day you look back and you go, oh my, I've shifted so much. I've shifted so far away from where I thought I would have been going, because I have created a mindset that have thought differently to make a spring into another version of this reality and continue to do so. Okay, so that's first they want you to know, belief creates reality. All of us have got belief structures, and all our beliefs are different. So every human have got their own set of belief within a structure. So they continue. Let's add another layer of learning. Human beings live within a context, or what we would call a paradigm of reality. What is a paradigm of reality? When a collective of humans believe in the same set of beliefs, they create a paradigm of reality within which they live their lives, right? When you are in a paradigm of reality, you will see evidence of your beliefs expressed in the reality. When you are in a spirituality space, like we all are in this spirituality space, a paradigm of reality that's populated by many who are awakened and are in spiritual practices, a population that believes in psychic abilities and the supernatural and the paranormal. Within this reality, these exist strongly and deliver profoundly for those in this reality. This is a paradigm of reality. So when you have a collective like us, believing in similar things, we are all participating in this paradigm of reality. Because of the way we are manifesting, then we are actually seeing the expressions of our manifestation in this paradigm. We're also seeing each other's manifestations because we are all participating in the same paradigm of reality. That this is one paradigm of reality that is growing, right? But the thing is, what they were explaining next is there are other paradigms of reality for which the other paradigms of realities also have their own expressions and evidence. When you are in a traditional scientific space, and they want to focus traditional, right, rather than more modern, you don't have that belief that us in this paradigm do. So paranormal expressions within that space are less vivid and less experienced, or if it's experienced, it is explained away with beliefs that are comfortable within the paradigm that you are living your life within. So, maybe there are paranormal experiences, but again, in a scientific realm, they will then actually explain it away in a way they can understand and be comfortable with, right? So we have the spirituality space, you have that scientific space. They existed for some time quite separately, but there has been a birthing of an in-between space. I love these in-between spaces. Yet there is a birthing of another paradigm where spirituality is meeting up with scientific evidence. In this paradigm, evidence that bring the two together coalesce, and new sets of beliefs are being birthed within this paradigm. So you get metaphysics and you get spirituality coming together in common places, and more beliefs around this space are being birthed, are being expressed, are being birthed, are being believed, and then it again creates a momentum for it. If you believe in spirituality and are open, you are able to participate in this paradigm as well. If you are science-based and are not resistant, you are able to participate in this paradigm as well. Can you now see that it is your resistance that holds you back from being one with all? So what is happening is, what they're trying to demonstrate is, when we're in the spirituality realm, right, if we're open to other paradigms of reality, like if we're open to science, spirituality and science, we can participate in that realm too. And scientists can participate in our realm through this in-between realm. But what happens is, when we carry dogma and start believing that our space is the only space that is right, we are actually cutting ourselves away from other paradigms of reality. And what that means is creating separation, which is not the way we want to go forward in. Similarly, like in religions where there's a lot of dogma and the disbelief that others could have a connection with all that is, right? Then what happens is that creates separation. And we in this spiritual space, who have talked about oneness and talked about unity consciousness, should not play that same game of dogma, right? So resistance, because of our judgment of others, keep us in a separate space. Yeah. That is where teachings like have no judgment, have no expectations, serve you well if you want to see through the eyes of Source. So this is really powerful. If we want to be, and I'm buzzing here, if we want to be embodied, have the Source spark come through us and be embodied, we need to become an observer and hold no judgment and hold no expectation and hold no view that one space is better than another space. What we do is we just focus on our space and do the best we can in the space we're in. You have many paradigms, and because of the existence of duality, you have many paradigms that oppose each other. You have a paradigm that believes that animals in the sea and on land are equals, to humans are equals, and therefore their activism attempts to augment the status of animals. And that's great. Those people in this paradigm move towards not having meat, and many have cast aspersions to those who eat meat. That is where the separation comes in, right? It's okay to carry the beliefs because it becomes your reality. It becomes your paradigm of, you then sit within a paradigm of reality. But what it's trying to say is there are opposing paradigms of reality, right? And we are not here to judge that. We're here to do the best within the paradigm we're in, right? There is a paradigm that believes that meat is vital for human development. Those in this paradigm do eat meat. And then there's an in-between. There is an in-between paradigm that believes in meat eating, but also more humane production and slaughtering. There is yet another paradigm, though unpalatable to the pro-animal activism paradigm, that believes that animals are fair game when it comes to sport. So are you seeing now that there are these paradigms, and now you see opposing paradigms of reality? Yeah. It is how you vibrate and which paradigm you anchor in that carries the values of right or wrong. And they want to say right or wrong. Okay. Whenever you come to a conundrum which is right or wrong for you, go within and ask your inner wisdom, your higher self, where you should put your focus on for your highest good and well-being. Some humans need meat because their belief structures have created reality that requires the ingestion of meat. It doesn't mean that they are wrong. It doesn't mean that they are bad. It is that they're sitting within a paradigm of belief. The question is, are they able to vibrate higher and higher and fulfill their goals because of their vibration, right? This forum lives and breathes within the paradigm of reality that eating meat is no longer right to do. For some, you believe it brings your vibration down. For some, you love animals as equals. For some, you believe not eating meat creates less emissions for the environment. And for some, a mix of some or all of this, right? We are not here to change your beliefs. We're here to say that belief creates reality, and you're living and breathing in a paradigm that believes this and will show you evidence that your belief is right. Yeah. What happens when you live and breathe a paradigm? This paradigm, we live and breathe this one, and in doing so, right, at the same time, you reject the opposite paradigm. Is that your human hang on a minute, I don't know what I've written this morning. What happens when you live and breathe the paradigm and reject opposing paradigms? Or what happens is that your human self will find manifesting in the opposite of what you believe difficult. So let's say you start believing in this paradigm and you're solely focused on this paradigm, and then you reject this paradigm. In a moment into the future, if you want to actually take on something in this paradigm, your human self will actually find it quite difficult. This is because, number one, you have fully fleshed out a belief structure in that paradigm that rejects the opposite. You have people around you that you love and enjoy the company that buy into your paradigm and reject the opposite. So it's really hard to actually then go there because you have the people around you that's doing the same. You have significant thought forms in the ethers around you that speak of the truths within the paradigm of reality you've chosen to live and breathe. So there are physical things that you can see that's sitting in this paradigm that's supporting this view. But what they're saying is there are thought forms that you bump up against in this paradigm as well. And there are thought forms that are in this paradigm that stops you from coming in, right? You will... Oh, okay, hang on. Okay, so I don't know if number 3 is you have significant thought forms in the ethers around you that speak of the truths within the paradigm of reality you have chosen to live and breathe in. Okay, that's where we stopped. You will consciously and subconsciously have beliefs that will be in resistance to the opposing beliefs of the opposing paradigm. It is hard work to try to go against that once the momentum for your existing in one paradigm is set. They're trying to explain why it's difficult to go to another paradigm of reality, that you will feel really difficult when you do try to go there. As an example, they use me as an example all the time. Philamae's belief structure moved away from red meat, and so when she does eat red meat, she feels physically awful. Like, it really is physically not good when I eat red meat. She can still eat seafood and chocolates, but right now her belief has created a structure and has created her physical nature that isn't accepting red meat anymore. So if you are fully entrenched and you know the paradigm as a whole is the best interest for your growth and for delivering you joy, we would say go with the flow. So this is really important, right? Once you're in a paradigm of reality and you've set up your life and your world around it, and your belief gets deeper and deeper in believing this paradigm, and you're seeing evidence for it, trying to actually step out will be quite difficult. It is better to go with the flow and better yourself from there. The truth is, some people eat meat, some people drink coffee and can still vibrate higher and can still channel. Go with the flow, the universal flow that comes through you. This includes going with the flow of others, for we are all one. So what they're saying is, don't judge another if they were to actually carry beliefs from a different paradigm, because they in this different paradigm may not be bad. They may just be wanting to do the same as us, to create a service to others, but they just so happen to do something differently because of a belief structure. They are also saying, go with our flow, but understanding that we are all one and we need to try to accept that others are going with the flow as well, right? That they're not, and it's a judgment call whether we believe something they do is good or bad. Fundamentally, this paper just wants us to look at what we're doing, and be compassionate about what others are doing. Philamae wishes to share her view on this to encourage us all not to become dogmatic. She was brought up in a Catholic church that was dogmatic about how life should be led. However, she's a zegger in paradigms of ziggers. She has always felt a misfit in all paradigms, although she loves the many she participates in. Her mission, as William has had communicated to her in a reading that was a few months ago, is to bring the wisdom of the 6 to 12 dimensions through for those who are struggling, to help ease and uplift through the sharing of insights from that space. See, everyone, once they start channeling, connecting, can bring down wisdom and insights, but we bring it from different places. And where what this is saying is that I'm bringing it from a space which tries to look and which wants us to be more observant about how life is playing out, and not to be too judgmental or have expectations or create dogmas around it. That's why living more lightly and lightheartedly tends to be the and ways to do it tends to be what is being brought through. From this perspective, we view all paradigms of reality with little judgment, which is from the 6 to, from a high level dimension. So they're saying, from this perspective, from their perspective, we view all paradigms of reality with little judgment, and she carries this in her being. We wish for all of you to make choices that will help you develop and grow and find joy. It is as much about taking away strictures and limiting beliefs to ensure you live more lightly and lightheartedly. When you live in a paradigm of reality, you inherit by osmosis, and they put in brackets, in this case, a metaphor, not a science word, folks. So they said you inherit by osmosis the beliefs and rituals of that paradigm. You are constantly bumping into expressions of that paradigm consciously, or bumping into thought forms unconsciously. It is going uphill to not go with the flow of a paradigm of reality if you are in it. If you wish to have a broader view, step up as an observer. Relax into your judgment of opposing paradigms. As well, relax into your attachment of yours, or attachment to yours. So to be an observer, we need to relax our attachment to our own paradigm of reality, and we need to relax our judgment of others' paradigm of reality. That's the way to become an observer, right? So like in the tutorial we've given you before this one, when faced with an opposing paradigm of reality with opposing beliefs, say to yourself, how curious, but of course, right? When you do so, you stop judging and you step up into your soul self because you are allowing for that paradigm of reality with its beliefs, the freedom to take its course. Yeah. From where we sit, returning to source means to be able to observe without attachment to your own human beliefs, ones which are anchored in specific paradigms of belief, and see things from there. So the more we can actually see from source, the more we are relaxed in our view and our judgment of these different paradigms of realities, especially those that conflict with our own paradigm of reality. There are also less significant paradigms of reality and more significant paradigms of reality that we choose or not choose to participate in. So all around us, we are in a lot of paradigms of reality. We might be in a main one, but we actually have offshoots that we participate in as well. The environment today is a significant topic that has two significant opposing paradigms of reality pitted against each other. They're pitting against each other. The other paradigms of realities around this topic are shades of grey of one of these two major paradigms. So you ask, which one is truth? And for those in this conscious living paradigm, you would say, how can there even be deniers, right? Planet Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia, is a consciousness in and of its own right, in and of her own right. Our planet Earth, whilst there are paradigms of belief around whether what we do is sustainable, like all humans, Gaia too has parallel realities that can be lived out. So all of us have got parallel realities. We talked about that before. Our belief creates these versions of realities that we can opt in or opt out of. What they're saying is Gaia as well. Gaia is a consciousness that also has her versions of reality, her dimensions of reality. Right? Gaia has generated multiple dimensions, the third, fourth, fifth dimensions, and are in the awareness of all who sit in the paradigm of knowing. Okay, so the third, fourth, and fifth dimensions, in our paradigm of reality, the spirituality space, we are very familiar with the third dimension, the fourth dimension, and the fifth dimension, which is the new earth. This is in our belief structure, and therefore when we are accessing them, we have evidence that these dimensions exist, right? The writing of these, the knowing of this, it is, however, becoming more mainstream with popular media, and the concept of the new earth, fifth dimensional living, is a paradigm that is in the process of being expressed in physical form for those who are calling this dimension in. So there is more and more awareness of this because of books being written about this. These dimensions are in themselves paradigms of reality. It's on a bigger, more significant scale in terms of collective manifestation. The debate of whether there is an urgent need to be environmentally conscious or not sits more with you. Which paradigm of reality do you wish to manifest yourself into? The fifth dimensional paradigm is one where humans are at one with each other, at one with Gaia, and in a paradigm where Gaia is healed and flourishing, right? What it means to manifest yourself into this paradigm in this fifth dimension is 1, to passionately live in loving kindness and compassion to Gaia. That is, be environmentally conscious because you want to, not because you have to. They are energetically different, okay? So, living in loving kindness and compassion to Gaia, what they're saying is we can do it because we love Gaia and we want to do this, and we're excited about wanting to do it. We're optimistic about doing this. But if you do it because of fear, then you're actually in an energetically different space. So 1 is to passionately live in loving kindness and compassion to Gaia. 2, to inspire others to also live in loving kindness and compassion to Gaia. And 3, but in doing these 2, but do not energetically believe that Gaia is at a point of no return. For in doing so, you are calling yourself into that reality. And, let me scroll down. They want to add, do not hate on others over their choices and beliefs. So it's very clear. Be passionate yourself about it. Inspire others about it. Don't hold the energy that you're doing it because Gaia is going to combust. It's going to, deteriorate. And there's no turning back in 10 years. Because when you do that, you're actually calling in that reality. But also, don't hate others for their choices and beliefs. All the above that's just been written, 1, 2, 3, and 4, is living a life more lightly and lightheartedly. Remember, lightheartedly was defined in a previous tutorial as a heart that's filled with more light, right? And lightly was about the impact to self and the impact to others. This includes the impact on Gaia. Now here comes the conundrum. On climate change discussion today, and there's a lot about it with the school strikes. With the school strikes, some say it's fear-based, and when we exist in fear, we are not calling in a better version of our reality. So should you not worry about the impact on Mother Nature at this point then, because you want to manifest a better paradigm for yourself, right? We would wish for you to think of it this way. Even if you can call in a better paradigm by envisioning and living a fifth dimensional life as if it's in the now, why not choose to do the kind and compassionate thing by leaving behind a reality that's more healed than it is today? It's about doing the right thing for the reality we are choosing to leave behind, right? Being environmentally conscious in your attitude and behaviors is therefore twofold. You need to live environmentally consciously because you wish to call in a fifth dimensional paradigm of reality, because you're living in the state where you want to be in, and when you do that, you call it in. As well, you wish to heal as much of Gaia's third dimensional reality before you leave it for others who choose to remain in that reality. Making this real and a priority for you. Some of your loved ones may choose, making this real and a priority for you, they're trying to focus in on the fact is that some of your loved ones may choose to stay in the third dimension. So don't do it out of fear. Do it because you want the world to be more beautiful, right? More beautiful. And even if we are calling in the future by visualizing and living in a state of consciousness when it comes to the environment, we want to do so at the same time because we want to leave the 3D environment in as beautiful a state if we can. However, we would caution you when it comes to thinking about the third dimensional state, right? We caution you, you need to do all you do in terms of being environmentally conscious in the actions you have with love and joy rather than in fear and regret. When you live consciously, do it with love and not grumble at it, and also inspire others. If we live in grace with the spirit of universal consciousness seeping into our every cell, we will love all reality